Can we reprogram our minds or change our mindset? The answer is yes. So if you are experiencing blocks or fears or anxieties around your writing, we can totally transform it. There are many ways that we can reprogram our minds. So today's video is going to give you a really simple 3-step process that's going to enable you to make a change in your mindset. So before we do the 3-step process, you need to really get clear about what it is that you want to change or what it is that you want to reprogram in your mind. So is it a specific fear? Is it an anxiety about something? Is it a block about something? So it might be that you have come to this video with something that you do want to change, and so that's why you're looking at a video that's all about how to reprogram your mind. Or it may be that you're like, oh, actually, I don't really have anything specific, but I just want to change everything. So just take a moment now to get really specific about what it is that you want to change. Is it a habit that you want to change? Is it a way of feeling about yourself? Is it something that you believe? So once you've got really clear about what it is that you want to reprogram, then we can go through the 3 steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start with, I'm going to use an example and take you through the process. So let's say, for example, I'm working with an entrepreneur who doesn't believe that they are good enough. So this entrepreneur might be running a program, it might be an online program, and it's offering a certain result for a certain group of people, but they're really struggling to sell the program. And actually what's really happening is they just don't believe that they're good enough. And so they want to reprogram their mind, they want to change their mindset. So we've got the specific, I don't believe that I'm good enough to sell my services. So the first step is to understand the distinction between truth and pattern, okay? So someone who's saying, I don't believe that I'm good enough to sell my services is currently taking that as truth. They are genuinely believing that they are not good enough. When it comes to reprogramming our mind, we have to be able to let go to what we think is true. And we have to understand that it is simply a pattern or a habit of thinking, a habit of feeling, or a habit of behavior. So this particular entrepreneur has gotten into the habit of feeling that they aren't good enough, of behaving in a way that is supporting the belief that they're not good enough, of thinking, they've got into a habit of thinking of themselves as not good enough. So that's the habit, or that's the pattern. So when we want to shift that mindset, we want to get really clear about the A to B of the entire habit or the entire pattern, which we were potentially currently seeing as the truth. So when I say the A to B, we're literally looking at the very beginning of where this habit or this mindset or this pattern of behavior starts, and the whole sequence it goes through. So with this entrepreneur, it might be that the habit or the pattern of not believing that they're good enough starts with opening up their email and they see that they don't have any new inquiries come in. It literally might be like even just the thought of starting a day's work just triggers the, oh, I've got to go to work today, but immediately I'm like, but I'm not good enough. Nobody wants to buy my services. So that would be the beginning of the pattern. I'm thinking about going to work, or I'm opening up my email address, or I'm even opening up my laptop. So you're exploring the beginning, and then you're literally writing all the way through to when the pattern ends. And so this client might be saying, the pattern then takes me to opening up my email but not responding to emails, thinking about the content that I need to post that day but actually not taking any action and not posting consistently. It might be that that pattern involves then taking loads of breaks, drinking a lot of coffee, trying to get in the zone, but then ending up doing diversionary tactics such as like going onto other websites, like doing loads of research but not actually creating anything. So you're really getting clear about the whole pattern, the whole mode of behavior, all of the feelings that are involved, all of the things that you're saying to yourself, the way it looks when you're in this pattern. You are literally exploring it with a fine-tooth comb. You're going through all of the detail right to the very end of the pattern. As you're doing this, you're already going to be creating a shift, because what you're doing when you're exploring this pattern and you're reminding yourself of the difference between truth and pattern, you're really beginning to realize what you've been taking as the truth. And you're beginning to understand that this is simply the way the brain is programmed, just like a computer program. So the brain is carrying out the pattern because that's what it's been programmed to do as a habit. And you've begun to see it as the truth rather than understand that it's a pattern. So once you've got the whole pattern written out and you've explored it, you know what it feels like, you know what it looks like, you know what it sounds like, you've got a sense of all of that internal dialogue, you're simply then just going to take a moment to make the distinction between the pattern and the truth. This is a pattern versus the truth that I'm not good enough. And so then you're going to start to open up to, well, what is the truth and what might life be like without that pattern there? So first step, difference between truth and pattern. Now, the next step really involves seeing through objections. So here's what I mean. The objections might be, it isn't just a pattern, it is the truth. I'm not good enough because I've always failed, or I'm not good enough because I haven't managed to create clients for this wonderful service that I'm offering. And so the objections will come up because they want to maintain the pattern. And that's really the brain saying, look, I've got this really good system, I'm alive, I don't want to change it. Because really the brain's core program is to survive. Now, the brain's core program doesn't involve happiness and financial success. The brain is literally just designed to survive. So if it has this pattern of avoiding all of the work necessary to do in order to attract clients, it's going to keep doing that pattern because you're still alive. It's not going to say, oh, this pattern isn't great because I'm not happy when I do this pattern and I'm not financially secure. So it's to notice that all the objections that come in, again, they're not the truth. They're simply the brain saying, I don't want to change this pattern. And the brain is saying that simply because you have survived up until this point. It's nervous that if you start to do things differently, you're going to risk survival. So what we want to do when we're managing these objections is to start to get clear about what survival really means. So in terms of creative survival, in terms of survival on a level of joy, in terms of survival on a level of satisfaction. So survival is more than just having your eyes open and being alive and breathing. And so when we're seeing through those objections, we keep coming back to, what does it really mean to survive? So if you've got an objection that says, no, but really I'm not good enough, it's to then say, okay, we're taking that not as the truth, and we're saying, what would it really mean to survive in this work? So if you're saying I'm not good enough as an entrepreneur, I'm not creating clients, you're then looking at, well, what would it really mean to survive as an entrepreneur? What would it really mean to live as an entrepreneur? What would it mean to survive and live offering these services or these courses? And so the objections are then being replaced by this vision of how you want your life and your career to be. So that's that second point. We've looked at the difference between truth and pattern, and we've really understood that the current program in our mind or our current mindset is not the truth, it's simply a pattern. We've understood that objections are going to come in to try to protect that pattern, but we're starting to explore in our mind a deeper level of survival. We're starting to replace those objections with like enticing you into a place of more fulfillment, so you're surviving on a different level. And then the third part of the practice is to get honest about giving up. So in this third phase, as we're looking to reprogram our mind, we're starting to put into practice some actions or some thoughts or some practiced feelings that really go with the kind of survival that we want. So if we come back to this example of the entrepreneur who doesn't feel good enough to sell their services, and they've then explored, okay, the objections are simply there, I'm not good enough. Look, I haven't created any clients. They're simply to maintain the pattern. But survival for this entrepreneur is the survival of fulfillment, because they're working with clients and they're feeling really fulfilled about the work that they're doing. They're feeling really excited about inquiries. They're feeling really satisfied about selling their course. And so they're starting to look at the actions that they might be taking in order to create these results. And so they're starting to think, yeah, actually, that would be about starting work on time each day. Or it might be that they're saying, actually, my actions would be about making sure that I'm consistent with the content that I'm putting out there. Or it might be that they're like, actually, my action is about reminding myself about why I want to do the work that I do. So again, you're getting really clear about all of the new actions, the new things, the new patterns that go with this new way of being. So again, you're going to go from A to B. You're going to describe all of the actions, all of the patterns, all of the habits, all of the feelings, all of the thoughts that are associated with this new level of survival, this new place of success or creative fulfillment. And then you're going to get really honest about giving up. Because here's the thing. I work with so many creatives who will come and they'll have a breakthrough session and they'll be like, yes, like I got a sense of all of the things that I need to be doing now. I'm really clear about all of the action that I need to be taking. And then as soon as they come to a day where they fall off the wagon, it's like, oh, there we go, it's not possible to change. But of course, because we're in a coaching relationship, they'll come back to the next session with me, and then we look at where did they fall off the wagon and how can they get back on again. So they're always really insightfully honest about where they've given up. And that to me is the absolute non-negotiable key of making a mindset change or reprogramming your mind. It's to understand when you slipped back into the old pattern, because change will only occur when you keep coming out of that. The more you keep coming out of that old pattern, the less the mind is going to take you back into it. And the more comfortable the mind is going to be with the new pattern, and then eventually that new pattern becomes automatic. If the first time you slip back into that old pattern, you allow yourself to stay there, you haven't taken the necessary action to reprogram your mind. And so it's to understand that the more you act in a new way, the more you're going to be acting in that new way, and the less you're going to be slipping back into those old habits. So to really be honest about giving up. So each day you're taking stock. Have I given up today? In what way have I slipped back into those old patterns? In what way am I accepting that I can't change, which in itself is a pattern? So continually watching, and then at the end of the day, just noticing, where was I able to maintain my new routines? Where was I able to maintain my new thought processes? And where did I slip back into those old routines and patterns? And you're noticing, and then you're course correcting, and you're reminding yourself of how you do want to be. So it is possible to reprogram our mind, to change our mindset, but to really understand that it's a long-term process. And the reason that there aren't more people achieving success with making this change is because they simply give up too soon. If the finish line is there, you've got to keep taking action until you get to the finish line. If you give up before you get to the finish line, you're not going to be able to change your mindset, and you're not going to be able to reprogram your mind. So it's to really understand that that finish line, in a way, is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process of making your way towards that successful place where you're feeling fulfilled and you're feeling contented. So I'd love to hear from you. What mindset shifts are you trying to make at the moment? Is it about fear around your writing? Is it about habits or routines? Is it about things that you believe that you want to change? Let me know in the comments below what you do want to reprogram in your mind. I would really love to hear from you. Like for me, I'm always doing work in my own mindset. So I love hearing from other people who are making change in this area. And also bear in mind, if you're not a member of the Write No Matter What community, I'm live in the community 3 times a month, doing interviews, offering hot seat coaching. So it's a really great place to have that support to make that long-term change. It's a free community. You'll find the details below. You'll be able to sign up. You'll receive regular emails from me and regular support in the community to make that change in your mindset, to reprogram your mind to be the way that you want it to be, to support you to live the career that you really want to have as a creator. So wishing you all the best with making those changes, making those shifts in your mindset, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.